Seriously, when will people learn we are the human race? We are all the same.
You're standing on the soil that has been fought for by Australian Anzac diggers. This is what our grandfathers fought for, to protect this so we can enjoy it. And we don't need these Lebanese to take it away from us. You're not welcome. This is our land. Get the hell out.
I can instantly see myself getting a little bit angry inside with such ignorant, stupid comments. That a prime example. This is our land. You know, what? Australia is a land of immigrants. It's no different to Great Britain. Great Britain is a land of immigrants. Most countries are a land of immigrants. You know, just because you're born somewhere, what does that mean? It means nothing. You know, we are all the same. Everywhere is full of immigrants. Just because you're born somewhere doesn't give you a right, you know, to stop anyone else living there. And I've got a sense of what this is about, and I've not seen any of this. I was told to look at this a while ago, and I can get a sense of what it is, what's happening and what happened. And straight away, it's resonating with things in America, things in the United Kingdom that hit home. Such dreadful scenes, and I stress we see this as a common occurrence, it seems now, as the world has gone more right wing, and it's not the world's gone more right wing, but the right wing seem to have more of a presence, and you see it now with the Trump campaigns and the riots over in America. You've got people like the EDL over here, the English Defence League, normally skinheads that think that they own our country, and what upsets me, I'm not someone who is massively patriotic, because I appreciate that I am simply lucky to be born where I am. So a flag doesn't necessarily mean, that the English flag doesn't mean much to me. It's just a flag of where I was born. Some may not like that, and some may agree. That's fine. But what you actually see is the right wing or the working class nationalists, because that's normally the problem, working class nationalists, that hold this flag up. In America, they would hold the American flag up, the United States flag. Over here, it would be the United Kingdom, the English, whatever. In Australia, it's the Australian flag. And it turns that symbol of that country into I'm trying to think of the right word, but a territorial symbol of aggression. And that's not what a flag should be about, I don't think. Not these days, anyway. It's not war. I stressed at the start, we are all the same. You're just lucky to be born when you are where you are. And I think sometimes the flags can become a really horrible symbol.
It's an ugly chapter for Australia, those 2 days, but looking at it again, Jason Stevens, you've given blood for Cronulla in football, you've lived there much of your life. What do you think when you see that?
I was literally sick in the stomach. I was, you know, I've seen those scenes overseas, and it's surreal sort of then to see it in your own backyard, and you know, that's what you get when there's, I guess, a mixture of alcohol and some deep-seated issues that really brought to the surface on that day, but I was sick to the stomach.
What I just saw really makes my blood boil, but it saddens me because I'm an Australian-born Lebanese Muslim, and to be told by another white Anglo-Saxon to go back to my country, well, this is my country, where do you want me to go?
We get that all the time over here. Over in United Kingdom, we get this all the time. You hear stories of basically ignorant people that tell people to go back to their own country even though they were born here. And you think, what are you talking about? What are you, like, where are they going to go? This is their country. You know, we have the same issues, you know, in our country, even to today, which I'm sure that these issues are still in Australia today, and you've got the same issues in the United States as well, and so many other countries, you know, and it's so upsetting to hear.
On the day, it was nothing what the media made out. It was not a good day, but
What?
most of the people there were just there for a good time.
Hang on, the media didn't beat that up, that happened.
I know, but that was only part of what was there.
It's a pretty ugly part.
Oh, of course it is. But it was a long time coming.
But nothing would justify the violence on either day. The first day of young Australians beating up some boys because they were Muslim is unacceptable.
And it goes on both parts. I don't condone any of it. I'm totally against all of it. But I just want to know what else are we meant to do when this has been coming for years.
What?
We're going to run a tape here of just a vox pop with some comments from people who were down there at the day. Have a look at this and it might spark some of you.
I've been rolled, I've been jumped, I've been walking home from Norby's, just walking through the park, I've had 3 dudes sneak up on me.
Like if they come up to you and ask you, for example, if you're rude, and they all laugh, they think it's all funny that their friends are doing that, and as soon as you say no, you get called a slut, you know, you get called a bitch, anything pretty much.
I have asked on many occasions why they do it. All the answers I ever get is because we hate you because you're Australian, because you're white, because you're not Muslim. I never get a straight answer. So I think it's pretty much religious and culture based.
They come down here and they start with their mouth and they just bullshit everybody. They harass our women. It's their religion.
Well, basically, if you come to the beach and you yell at people from a distance,
abuse that you don't know the people and they don't deserve it.
Yeah, then how can you demand respect? That's just rude.
Us girls, we're just over it.
We don't really support what did happen here that Sunday, but it sort of needed to happen eventually just to bring it to everyone's attention.
Brian Brodman, you were there. Do you want to add anything else to that in terms of, has it got much worse than it used to be?
I just want to remind everyone that pretty much the last straw was when those lifesavers did get bashed for no apparent reason on Cronulla, and that's what everyone reacted to. And the message going around wasn't for violence or anything, it was just to
Basically a peaceful protest, which was the majority of that day, and we do feel that the media did blow that up just a little bit.
I was there.
So was I.
Yeah, and I was there and I witnessed it, and it wasn't peaceful. Initially it was. Initially, but then with the whole alcohol and everything coming, it went, you know, and with the neo-Nazis there and all the rest of them, it made it big.
Now you guys want to say that you came together for a peaceful protest. The images that we just viewed nearly made me cry. This is not the Australia that I know. This is not the Australia that I've been brought up in. I am so disgusted and angry and disappointed in my fellow Australians to be behaving and acting like this.
What happened on that day, I happened to be there, and that was a demonstration of frustration, not a racial riot. Now, if the New South Wales Police of this state had been jumping onto these people and doing their duty, it would never ever happen. Admittedly, there were some rat bags there on that day, but what happened was the young blokes down there got fueled up on alcohol and testosterone. I really think that the jellyback senior police of this New South Wales Police should be doing something about it because it's just got out of hand.
This is not a problem that is confined to Cronulla Beach. Cronulla unfortunately wore it because the lifesavers were bashed on the Sunday before. This could have been any beach between Newcastle and Wollongong, because this obnoxious, criminal, thuggish behaviour has been underway for 10 years from Newcastle to Wollongong, and you had a situation on the night of the 11th, the 12th, the 13th and the 14th of December where 4 million people were terrorised and locked down because a couple of hundred thugs weren't locked up.
So what you're trying to tell me right now, that if we were to grab our community, all these so-called thugs, how you put it, and keep denouncing these kids and lock them up, you think that's going to be a solution?
Listen,
I think there's a lot of issues in this, and I think it is. I think, and I will try and put this as sensitively as I can. It is an issue of your religion. And if you know me, I have no religion. I don't believe. And I think religion is a source of bad things, evil things. Nationality or perceived nationality is also an issue. Ignorance, that's a huge one. That ignorance is a huge issue that almost encompasses everything. And intolerances. Do you know what I mean? Just because someone's religious, all right, get on. I don't care. If someone wants to believe something that I don't believe in and I think's not true, I'm not going to start fighting with them. You know, I really don't care. Do what you want. And that's where this intolerances come. You know, it's oh, you over there practicing and preaching and doing whatever. So? Sorry, is it affecting your life? And it's a tricky subject. But I can say this. This happens in the UK, happens in the United States, happens in other countries as well, of intolerances, religious tensions as well. And you see here from this clip of people just blame everyone else rather than saying, okay, yeah, we were in the wrong. And then the next person saying, yeah, we were in the wrong. And everyone here is probably in the wrong. You know, there probably isn't any innocent people here talking in those sort of groups. They're all probably got something that they did wrong. And you almost need everyone to admit, okay, I'm sorry, I did this wrong.
Are you serious?
There are about a couple of hundred criminals and thugs who were involved in the violence on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and they should be in jail.
Most of the people that were arrested, I hate to tell you, Peter, most of the people that were arrested, they had jobs. Most of the people that got arrested,
mate,
they had
I
jobs.
don't care who
they weren't criminals. It was their first time ever being in trouble.
I don't care if they're Anglo-Saxon. I don't care if they're Middle Eastern. I don't care who they are. If they're violent or they intimidate someone, they should be in jail.
Shame
I don't
on
know when it happens, whether it's December or in the last 10 years, I want them locked up.
You want locked up. That is not the solution, Peter. I hate to tell you, that is not the solution.
You heard it, Peter. You heard people say over those weeks that what you've done is not leadership, you've just point scored. A politician scoring points saying...
Ray, look, it was the worst breakdown of law and order in New South Wales in 100 years. And it goes back to a couple of things. You've got a couple of hundred thugs who should be in Long Bay Jail who aren't. You've got police who lost 600 officers. 600 officers in the last 2 years. And you've got a lack of political commitment from a government that just refuses to lock the bastards up.
Let me go to the Commissioner, let me go to the police down here. Your hearings, you are under-resourced.
Ray, I think it's true and accurate to say that no police commissioner anywhere in the world wouldn't take more police. Now, the reality is it is much bigger than a single police issue. But that's not to discount in any way the seriousness of this issue in the mind of these people. The perception that they've got, the issues that they're here talking about, the tensions that have been exhibited need to be addressed.
Well, let me ask you, was that day, these 2 days, a law and order issue? or is it about race?
Well, I mean, we were dealing with it as a law and order issue because we are law and order keepers.
Yep.
The reality is, things happened, crimes were committed. It's not of interest to the police whether you are Caucasian or whether you are Middle Eastern or anything in between. If you commit a crime, you will stand and be dealt with.
Let's go to that Sunday the 11th, though, that day of shame. If it wasn't for a couple of brave policemen, these two fellas, Issa and Maman, could well have been killed. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, so we got to about here, and there was people everywhere, like, standing around here.
Hey, bud, that's more fair too, mate. That's more fair
We told them, you know, we're Australian, we're Lebanese, but we're born here. Everything was sweet, we were shaking hands. And then all of a sudden, just someone from around here just threw a glass bottle, hit me in the head. And then everyone started coming.
That's when the crowd got a bit aggro.
People just come in from the left, from the right, just running at me, trying to kick me, trying to trip me over.
Everyone was just throwing punches, and then I was on the ground. I blacked out. I didn't even know what was happening. My body went numb. I just didn't feel anything. And like I could feel the kicks coming, but because my blood was rushing that quick, I didn't know what was happening. Then cops came.
I've been coming here for years, and to come here one day and get bashed, you know, you don't feel safe anymore, you feel violated.
Do you know what it's almost reminding me of, actually? It's reminding me of football fans, as in soccer fans, and the tribalism that there is. This looks almost like a football fan, a football hooligan. It is exactly the same. That they've got these... So, look, you've got rivalries between clubs, for example, all right? So, I don't know. I'll give you an example. Arsenal and Tottenham. Manchester, Liverpool, whatever. And it's... Bearing in mind, whatever football club you support, it really doesn't matter. As in, it has no effect on anyone else what club you support, because it is just a sport. It is just football at the end of the day. But fans are built from generation to generation that you must hate someone different, i.e. someone that supports another club. And this just seems exactly like that. And it's bred from generation to generation that anyone that looks different or behaves different, you know, or speaks different, they are the enemy. You know, they are in the wrong. They are bad people. And this picture just highlights that. So what if someone speaks a different language or looks different? Like, it doesn't matter. But it just reminds me of football hooligans. It really does. No logic
You're here.
behind
have you been
what
back
they're
to
doing.
Cronulla?
Yeah, when I done that
The interview?
yeah.
But apart from that, it's pretty obvious you're there then. Apart from that,
No, I haven't been back.
are you scared to go back?
Yeah, I suppose so.
What are you scared of?
Getting jumped again.
Are you really?
Yeah. That's the only thing, like, I don't want to go back and get put on, like the way I was put on that day. I didn't go down there to do trouble. I just went there to go for a swim like I normally do.
And that was your beach? You'd been going there with your parents for some time?
Yeah, I have. Since I was young, my parents took me there. You know, that's the only beach I've ever known. And it was ugly to see what happened, and like, I felt ashamed, you know. I'm Australian too.
Did you feel Australian that day?
No.
Been a Cronulla regular since I could remember, and if there's anything in the entire conflict that...
I'm going to put this on a lighter note. This guy is one of the most Australian-looking guys I've ever seen. This is the epitome of Australia from an outsider. Bleached blonde hair, looks like a surfer dude. Right, back to the seriousness.
we should do is we can spend all our time looking back at the horrors of the day, but I think we need to look forward, and I think the essence of this is we need to forgive each other because there's anger on both sides. And it's terrible what's happened, but I would like to see everyone forgive each other and come together, hopefully.
Wow. What a great guy, clearly. What a great guy. Honestly, this guy has just said it spot on. When something's happened, you can't change something that's happened. And therefore, you've almost got to forgive and move on to make things better. So you, like I said earlier, you have to admit that what you did was wrong, and that's all parties have to admit what they did was wrong. And just, forgive each other and say sorry and move on and learn from what happened and use that to make things better. And you can say that in all walks of life, can't you, really? You really can think of that in all walks of life.
And you saw what happened. Everyone, they want to say it wasn't race connected. When you got people with offensive stuff on their shirts about our prophet, about our God, attacking us. What's that? And
Well, okay. I just said that I am not religious, but there's something you learn at school, okay? And you can take this with a pinch of salt. You can argue this if you like, but sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Now, as I said, that's not always technically true. In that some things that are said can be very hurtful. And I don't think people should be walking around with t-shirts slandering other, gods and all that nonsense. But it's not real, in my opinion anyway. But why take offence? Why take offence at that? But this is like with anything. Why take offence? You can't use that as an example to start beating people up. There's verbal and there's physical.
the actions of those guys, what else do you call it?
Very small, very, very small minority of people
It was a small
who
minority,
feel that way.
5,000 people. Everyone knew what it was about. Those text messages said it all. Bash the lebs and bash the wogs. Let's go down and was it leb and wog bashing day?
The thing is that we're avoiding the issue of the build-up of frustration, and
that's what the police are for, man.
But I've got to say, the police have come to my rescue. There was about 4 years ago, when I was at the beach and I saw a guy of Middle Eastern background, and he pinched a white Anglo girl in the bum, and I went over, mate. Within 2 minutes, I was surrounded by these guys, and I've never experienced fear like that. I'll be honest with you. And so that frustration on the day that was shown was inexcusable. The way the people enforced it and expressed them, absolutely inexcusable. But there were reasons why which led to that frustration. You've got to understand. It's a minority.
The guys are saying that it's a peaceful. It wasn't peaceful. It wasn't meant to be peaceful.
It wasn't peaceful. No.
They blame alcohol. Don't blame alcohol. That's a cheap way out. And
I agree. But you've got to agree. Yes, but alcohol doesn't help, does it? You lose your.
One of the first things that we must, as a whole community, is put our hands up and say yes, we are responsible for what had happened. And let's sit together and fix it for once and for all. Let's not start pointing the fingers, because that's exactly what's happening. We just point the finger at each other and play the blaming game. Okay. There is no one to be blamed here but ourselves if we all of us call each other Australians.
I'm a teacher. A 12-year-old girl said to me, "Miss, I'm ashamed to be a Muslim. They're all rapists and terrorists." Now, how does a 12-year-old girl get that sort of image of herself on a daily basis? These children are being told that they're bad.
Okay, let's go to the Monday then. The next day after the Sunday when we saw the madness, more disgrace. Steve B was just going to his shop that night. Have a look what happened.
I was walking back from the 7-Eleven, just going to get a can of drink. I heard some yelling and screaming across the road. I looked across. There was some 3 or 4 young guys trying to drag a guy out of the vehicle. Luckily, the guy in the vehicle managed to drive off. Thought I'm just going to get out of here, get into my vehicle, get out of the area. Next thing I know, some guy had run across from me. I heard running and like a screaming. I turned up. That's the first guy that throws the beer bottle at me.
Oh.
Back into this alcove here. And next thing I know, there's 20, 30 guys hitting me.
What? Jesus.
Just getting hit in the head, and the next thing I can remember, there was a steel bar coming up and hitting me, and I don't know what happened from then. Next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground, and the police or the dog squad arrived.
So where's...
That is inexcusable. And I almost want to think of a reason why, and put a reason on it, but those sort of actions. He was minding his own business, and so it's not just the Anglo-Saxons that are to blame, and it's not just the Lebanese, but how can anyone in their right mind think that that's okay to do, to attack someone who is minding their own business, for Christ's sake? Oh my God, that is honestly horrendous scenes, what I just saw. One man, and there was about 20 people that came and attacked him and just ran off. Inexcusable.
Steve. Steve, now, we say Steve B, you're obviously, you're afraid to give your name here. Are you still scared?
Yeah, I don't know, just, yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah, I probably am scared to say it, but if you're black, white or chocolate fudge ripple, I don't care, you know what I mean? Mate, it's a gang, not saying they're Muslim, it's a gang of 20, 30 kids harassing people on the beach. A gang of kids that should have just got a kick in the butt 5 years ago. That's it. But there's 20, 30 kids that should have got a kick in the butt.
Can we just get to the biggest problem that we have at the moment, is addressing the racism that exists and everybody's trying to cover it with sugar.
I make this point, and you take this as you will, that's fine. There is no such thing as racism, because we are all the human race. There's ethnicism, if that's the word. But we're all the same race. Why won't people realise this? We're all the same. We all bleed red. You know? It's nationalism and ethnicism. I hate the word racism. I really, really hate the word racism. Because it is assuming that we are a different race. Almost like we're a different species, almost, you know, from each other.
Let's get to the sponge of the cake and really discuss the matter and why all this stuff finally came to a head and finally came to realise at Cronulla. This has been going on for years. Everyone that says that this has not been going on is living in La La Land. I mean, it's time to come out of La La Land and really address the issue so we can solve the issue.
You're saying racism on both sides?
Both sides of the fence says racism. The Australians used to call us wogs. We used to go to the beach. I've been in this country for many, many years. We used to go to the beach and we used to get scared to go to the beach on our own. That's when we started going in groups. And that's when they started hating us. We helped each other when the Australians came and fought against us. And this is how we got this reputation as having been a gang. We're no gang.
For the past 20 minutes, me, myself and a few friends have sat back listening to the older generation point the finger at religion, race. It's got nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, it's the parents are bringing up these kids with a lack of respect and tolerance.
I half agree and half don't agree. I still do think it's religion, and the intolerance. But actually, I also agree spot on that actually our children brought up to respect others and to be tolerant. Even if you don't agree, that's fine. But who cares? Like, you know, whatever, let them get on with it. It's not affecting me. It's not negatively impacting on my life. So who cares? So I 50-50 agree and disagree with him.
On both sides it is, the attitude and the behaviour absolutely sucks. That's where the problem is. It's not in race and religion. We can live with that. We're all friends. It's about the lack of respect and tolerance.
Lady in front, what do you want to say?
As a 17-year-old living in southwest Sydney, we can walk to school 5 days a week. We can get stopped. Three out of the 5 days get harassed for being Australian walking to school.
I'm Lebanese and I'm Muslim and I also get harassed. So it's not just the Aussies. I really, really get angry when Aussies think that they're targeted just because they're white. That is not true. All women get harassed. All women get harassed. All women get harassed.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with race, nothing to do with religion. It's all to do with behaviour and the lack of parenting.
What we're talking about here tonight is a gang of totally uncontrollable youth who are creating enormous trouble throughout Sydney and have done so for a long, long time.
Can't blame... How can you blame the youths? How can you blame the young people? You know, quite often, yeah, children are horrible, but quite often the younger people are more tolerant than the older people because the older generation are stuck in their own ways. And that's not everyone. That is not everyone. That's generalising. But, you know, I look at my nan or my granddad when he was alive and the lack of tolerance that they have / had is unbelievable.
I was in the North Cronulla Surf Club on Wednesday the 7th and witnessed a bashing far more violent than anything you've shown here tonight. Now, the Cronulla people realised they were totally isolated. They've been bashed and put upon for years with no police protection.
Thank you on this. We have to wrap it up now. Fadi?
What we need is not more force on these kids. You have to give a break to these kids. These kids are disadvantaged. What we need to do is place programs and teach these kids how to respect others, teach these kids how to respect the police and respect the society they live in.
Cronulla. I'm going to end it there. It's horrible to think, it really is horrible to think that this, you know, the things that I've seen in the UK with riots and nationalism, I think that's the big thing over here. And what we've seen over in the United States recently is happening in Australia as well, or happened in Australia as well. And I think the young Lebanese man there at the end got it right, actually, is you need to be working with kids at a young age because quite often it is the disadvantaged children that then grow up to cause trouble. And you see that with criminal acts anyway. It's normally the disadvantaged and it's the culture of it. And I think money needs to be spent in the government to improve their lives, whether it's having courses for work, for having youth classes or youth camps, holiday camps and things like that, that actively encourage involvement from everyone, from other nationalities, from other religions, from, you know, everyone joining in together because they enjoy doing something, whether that's sport, whether that's, I don't know, any other physical activity, whether it's playing computer games, whatever. I think this is the same thing in England and the UK, and we need to be giving these younger people opportunities and improving their life. And actually, I think that is a big, big thing of how to improve. It's getting people out of poverty and hardship. I think that is actually that is basically the underlining issue, isn't it? I think anyway. If everyone can have a more satisfactory life with less hardship, there would be less problems. Anyway, it was a bit of a long one today. I just wanted to look at the Cronulla riots and see what it was about. And this video allowed me to have reactions from different areas of the public and their opinions. Let me know what your memories are of it and what your thoughts of it are now. And if you agree with me or disagree with me, please let me know. I don't mind. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.